Hello there, everyone! With the latest episode of The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett, we get a neat scene in which Din Djarin is required to place every single one of his weapons into a briefcase in order to attend the flight to Tatooine. And in this video, I thought it'd be fun just to go over each weapon and rank them, one by one, and there is 10 of them. No, David, I'm not out of video ideas. So at number 10, I'm going to be putting on the rope. No, I'm just kidding. This is a grappling line that he uses to, I guess, grapple people. It's actually called a whipcord thrower, and can you even consider this a weapon? I don't even know. All I know is he puts it in the weapons case, so technically I can consider it a weapon. And to be honest, that's all I have to say about Din Djarin's rope. There's a reason why it's number 10 on the list. Oh, also, it was critical for that beginning scene in episode 1 where he closed the bounty into that door. That was a neat scene. I like that. Now for number 9, I'm going to be putting his flash charges, which was a device when activated, created a brief but intense blinding light. To my knowledge, we don't see him use these that often. The only time I can recall him using these is during chapter 5, the gunslinger. Number 8. Now on to the good stuff. We have the thermal detonators, and once again, the only time I recall him using these is in chapter 11. This is where Din and Bo-Katan and her crew are trying to make their way to the cockpit of the Imperial warship, and out of desperation, Mando asks for some cover from the others, and he launches 2 of these grenades, blowing up any of the stormtroopers in his way. Now these thermal detonators, we've seen them all throughout Star Wars. They're nothing particularly special, but they do come useful when necessary. So for 7, we have the Vambrace flamethrower. Now, Mandalorian Vambraces were devices designed specifically to combat the abilities of a Jedi, and with his flamethrower, this is no different story. And speaking of flamethrowers, did you guys know that Sebulba equipped his pod racer with flamethrowers? He used them as a way to cheat and help himself win. Maybe this is shown in The Phantom Menace. I don't know. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. Anyways, for number 6, I'm simply going to put his blaster pistol. This is an IB-94 model, and the only cool thing I could find about this is that it's based off of a Bergman 1896. But other than that, there's really nothing else too special about it. It's cool, it does what it's supposed to do as a blaster, nothing too crazy. And now finally at number 5, we are finally getting on to the more fun and unique things. So for number 5, I am going to go with the Vibral Blade. And the most interesting thing about these is they actually emit electricity. So whenever your opponent gets hit by one, it, well, electrocutes him to a great extent. And because of its constant vibrating, you don't really need to use a ton of force to do a detrimental amount of damage. And now on to number 4. This was a pretty difficult one to find a spot on the list, but I'm going to be going with his whistling birds. Made up of Beskar steel, these were small guided munitions placed in Mandalorian Vambraces, which, when deployed, flew through the air making a whistling noise before striking the target and killing them with a small explosion. Yes, I stole that line straight from Wikipedia. It's the only thing us Star Wars YouTubers know. But Din Djarin carries 12 of these at a time with his little setup, and honestly I'm kind of confused because in the latest episode of Book of Boba Fett, the armorer forces Din to melt down his spear due to its Beskar being a threat to Mandalorians, and fair enough, but if the whistling birds are also made of Beskar, then wouldn't that too be a threat to Mandalorians? I don't know. I'm way overthinking this. Someone can explain this in the comment section or something. And now to number 3, we're going to have the Beskar staff. This spear was wielded by the Magistrate Morgan Elsbeth on Corvus during the New Republic era, and after she was defeated by Ahsoka Tano during episode 5 of The Mandalorian, Ahsoka did gift this weapon to Din Djarin. Now, I absolutely love this weapon, and because it is pure Beskar throughout, it can sustain an attack by a lightsaber. This allowed Din Djarin to take on the Moff Gideon during chapter 16 of the show, and this duel is one of the most underrated ones in Star Wars. Everyone always talks about the Luke Skywalker scene, and rightfully so. However, the fight with Gideon, in my opinion, is pretty much on par with Luke's scene. And let's be real here, the entire episode is a 10 out of 10. And I love the Beskar spear so much that I do plan on purchasing a full replica of one someday. I'll be sure and do a whole review if I do end up getting it. But with this weapon, unfortunately, the armorer requested the staff be melted down as, like I just talked about, it posed a great threat to the already limited Mandalorians, and he crafts it into a special gift for Grogu. Now, we're not exactly sure what this is going to be, but my guess is it's some sort of Beskar chain. And on to number 2, we have Din Djarin's iconic Ambin Phase Pulse Sniper Rifle. Now, not only does this weapon electrocute enemies with its bayonet at the end, but the rifle is also capable of completely disintegrating anything that the projectile touches. And once again, much like his Beskar spear, this beautiful piece of technology was sadly destroyed. Moff Gideon ordered an orbital laser blast from his light cruiser, destroying his ship, including the sniper that was within it. Why do all of his best weapons and just things in the show get destroyed for no reason at all? I don't understand. And finally, we have arrived at number 1. Now, those who talk to me and are active in my Discord server shouldn't be surprised with this decision whatsoever. But for number 1, we have his legendary Darksaber. And I am an absolute simp for this weapon. So the Darksaber was an ancient and unique black-bladed lightsaber created by Tar Vizsla, who was the first Mandalorian who was ever inducted into the Jedi Order, and there is, of course, a large history to it that I simply won't be getting into in this video. Din Djarin won the saber when fighting against Moff Gideon, who was the previous owner, and while he tried to pass it off to Bo-Katan, she could not accept it, as in order to hold the power that comes with owning the weapon, you would have to defeat the previous owner in combat. And we recently learned of the curse of the prophecy that came with wielding the saber that wasn't won in battle. And what's interesting about this is he kind of sucks with it. He hurt himself really badly when fighting with it, and he states that it is extremely heavy to swing around, and the armorer instructs him that in order to be efficient with it, he needs to stop fighting against it. Now, in my personal opinion, I think he's going to be trained by none other than Luke Skywalker himself with this saber. And there's a lot of reasons I have that lead me to believe this theory, so I might make a video on it. But overall, the Darksaber design is becoming my favorite lightsaber design. The Skywalker saber has always been number 1 and still is, but honestly, Din Djarin wielding this is starting to change my mind just a little bit, and I'm curious to see where he goes with the weapon and specifically the power it holds in Mandalorian Season 3. But anyways, guys, that is my ranking for Din Djarin's weapon arsenal. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and ranks down below in the comments, and I hope you all did enjoy this ranking video. If you all want to see more of these types of videos, please be sure and let me know by leaving a like or leaving a comment. I don't know, just let me know if you want to see more videos like this. But with that said, I thank you guys so much for watching until the end, and if you would, subscribe for more Star Wars news, theories, updates, and more, and I will hopefully see you in the next one.